So we've been following the Save the Kids situation with Coffeezilla. He hasn't posted in 2 weeks. The last video that he posted was about getting sued. Now, I'm going to assume, and that was a week after posting this video here, and he posted a couple videos in between that. So he seems like he posts a few times a week. That's his normal content. But after exposing the Save the Kids scam, or whatever you want to call it, terrible bullshit that very clearly was some like a narrative to just predatorize people's own fans, like monetarily, like you know, utilize their position to try to get people to invest a lot of their money into these cryptocurrencies just so that they can pump it in and dump it out and pull out all their money and make a bunch of money. He was sued. Now, I'm going to assume that he's been under quite a bit of mental health stress, considering he hasn't posted in 2 weeks, which I don't blame him whatsoever for. But this seems to be the last bit of piece in the, you know, the final piece. So let's see what he has to say.
Okay, so don't freak out, but I did spend a lot of time doing this. We're probably gonna have to chat soon. Whoa, boys.
Because of legal reasons, all
Sam Pepper reached out to him? Wow.
I'm allowed to say right now is this. Do not believe what you're hearing online.
A Frazier, Kay, reportedly filed a cease and desist against Coffeezilla.
Which is why I'm making this video, to inform the boys, Frazier's law firm, that unfortunately, I'm gonna miss the deadline, boys.
Now, where it gets very, very interesting is also the accusation surfacing around what seems to be a former FaZe Clan manager known as Jordan Galen.
There's even more to this, okay? Because Sam Pepper, before any of this happened, was involved in his own pump and dump scandal. And I say, somebody investigate Sam Pepper.
That's Sam Pepper? Like heroin addict Vegeta? Like, what the fuck? This is what Sam Pepper looks like? Okay.
On last week's Mom's Basement, you know what that kid did, Sam Pepper?
What?
He privated his Twitter.
Guys, this has gone so beyond social media drama at this point. Like, there's legal implications for these guys, I'm sure.
All of these people making videos think that they know the truth and that they know who's responsible when they just don't.
This is quite an epic editing here. Jesus. Maybe
All
he's been working on this for the past 2 weeks. That intro alone had to take like fucking hours.
Welcome to the final part of our story on Save the
Jesus
Kids.
Christ.
It's taken a while. We got here. Save the Kids was a crypto charity coin, as many of you know, that turned out to be a scam. It was promoted by some of the biggest influencers in the world, and for the past few weeks, Barely Sociable, Mudahar, and myself have been working to uncover the truth of what happened. This will be my final contribution to the story. So far, we've given everyone a lot in terms of evidence, but I think it's time to zoom out a bit. And so in this finale, I'm going to try to make it so that everyone can understand it and see this whole thing for what it was. And I'm going to be trying to create, using the best available information, a narrative on what exactly happened. Who changed the anti-whale code? Who started the coin? Who's been running these deals? I'll do my best to answer all of those
What
codes.
is it?
Who started the coin? Who's been
Sam Pepper. Who was Manny? It wasn't that much work for, to ask a few mods. I ain't gonna charge for that. I don't know Manny. I thought you got a Masters on board as well.
running these deals? I'll do my best to answer all of those questions, but bear in mind, you have to understand that many of these people with key information aren't talking. They're scared of law enforcement. Some of them might even be on the run, and others are just simply lying to me. But I'm not just here to talk about who's guilty. I also want to clear up anyone who got caught up in this. But anyways,
Sam Pepper fell off after doing a kidnapping my best friend prank. Oh, funny prank. Why did anybody ever think that those were funny or interesting?
without further ado, let's get to the bottom of what is, in my opinion, the most complicated crypto scam of this year. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the $10 million studio. I'm your host, Coffeezilla, the internet detective, and where we last left things, we didn't know who the mastermind was. We had
He's just getting in his
players.
car,
We
yeah.
also had some people who sold some Save the Kids token, but didn't have a pattern of malicious selling. And we also had a bunch of question marks, unknown wallets, and people who we really didn't know their level of involvement with this whole thing. And some people we didn't know if they were relevant or not.
I actually orchestrated the whole thing, and I was able to deflect onto everybody else, which is why I'm in the clear and I'm now a millionaire.
Remember, this guy named Manny seemed to be involved, but we didn't know who that was. And a lot has happened since that first video went live.
That'd be crazy
First
if that
thing
was true,
was
huh?
that nearly right after I put it up, I get hit up by none other than Manny. And he said his whole role in this thing has been misunderstood. He wasn't some big mastermind.
I was just an intern buying people coffees. It wasn't me. I'm not a mastermind. I have no idea what I'm doing in general.
He was just a connection guy.
Yeah, so me and Fraser were in this one group chat, and it's a paid to, like, you have to pay to get in, or you have to have like $1 million in crypto. And through there, he asked, yo, I need a dev. And I'm like, I have a dev. And that brings me to Lucas. That was my role. I was hands off from there pretty much.
All right, so we can kind of cross his name off. It isn't a lot, but it's a start. There are a lot more names we have to check into. So the next thing we did was hunt for more wallets of people who were involved. And that's when we got pinged by one of the founders of Moon Portal. Remember, this was one of the scams that was promoted by a lot of these so-called influencers. And this developer told us that influencers ruined his project. And
that's why you just have to take your money and put it in a box and bury it 20 feet underground, right into the middle of your cesspool. You have to put your money, turn it into gold, and put it in the middle of your cesspool, like the core of the earth, you know?
Because of that, he decided
like the gold is the core of the earth and your cesspool is the planet and the lava.
To give us the wallets of several famous influencers who were involved in his pre-sale. Among them, Rice Gum. So this is it, the alleged wallet. It looks like on June 6th, he got some money from the pre-sale. And
yeah, that's a good point, actually. It was probably a legit coin until influencers got involved. That's an interesting point. It may be true. You know, these... some of these people making these coins are probably like young people who want to do like make a bunch of money doing nothing, and so it's quite possible that they had ideas to make a particular coin, and then a bunch of influencers are like, let's just fuck it up, let's just fuck shit up, bro. It'd be so funny to ruin people's lives, you know. And
30 minutes later, he starts selling it off. Then he waits a couple hours and sells off the rest. So after a few hours, Rice Gum has 7 kids to his name, which, based on the fact this guy's an ambassador of the project,
wouldn't doubt that Rice Gum had 7 kids like in his basement or something,
is a pretty scumbag thing to do. However, looking through his other token history, this guy isn't a crypto mastermind. If I can be honest, Rice Gum is, from what I can see, not smart.
He's a fucking
even though
idiot.
He abandoned Save the Kids seemingly at his earliest convenience. I'd put him more in a similar category as Jarvis or Nikan, who we talked about last time as selling off some of their Save the Kids token, but not having a pattern of malicious selling.
I feel like that downplays it, because like what he's saying is like, yeah, you know, this was the first time he did a really horrible thing by basically stealing money from his fans. By supporting a particular token and using his clout and his weight to say, "Hey, buy into this. This will be a good investment," and then dumping the investment out and taking the money. Because this is clearly his first time doing it. Like, he sold everything off almost immediately. Like, so he's maybe he hasn't been doing this like constantly, but he's still an asshole. So, and thank you so much for the 6 months of subs in advance. Thank you so much, Bert.
I think that's really important as we go through this. And pretty soon after we got this lucky break finding Rice Gum, we got another lead when we heard that one of the influencers involved, Tico, wanted to volunteer his wallet, saying he had nothing to hide. We, of course, took him up on that, and here it is, Tico's wallet. Now, let me tell you up front, Tico is probably the only person in this whole story I feel bad for, because we have him on blockchain record putting in roughly $40,000 worth of crypto into Save the Kids token and then just not selling at all. As you can see, he bought some here. He even bought more from PancakeSwap and just held on to it as it tanked to basically zero. Which means that in all of this, Tico seems to be the only one who actually wanted to help save any kids. Now,
wow, that's incredible. Good for that guy, honestly. That's the person that you feel bad for. You're like, he's a guy who's like, you know what? This is the guy from what I would assume. He's the guy that's like, hey, you know what? A bunch of my friends or people that like are other influencers that I want to be like in some capacity are doing this, so I'll do it as a way to get in with them and maybe to help people out or for whatever reason. And then he does it, and then it starts to go down in value. So he's like, I'll buy some more. Maybe that'll drive up the price. And then he just gets systematically fucked. Like, you know what I mean? This guy, but at least he did the right thing.
As we were hunting for these other wallets, we found something that we didn't expect. See, our plan was to trace back the scams as we had in the past, and talked to some of the developers. And among them, we kept hearing a name pop up, Jordan Galen. And I want to say, I didn't mention him in the first video because I had never heard of him before. I didn't even know he was involved in Save the Kids. But the more we explored projects beyond just Save the Kids, his name kept popping up as someone who is organizing these deals. Here, for instance, is a text from Jordan Galen to the Moon Portal team. Hey, Hazim, I was telling Gabe that officially confirmed is Fraser, Jarvis, Rice Gum, me. Waiting on official confirmation from Aiden and Banks, and we'll circle back shortly. Now, this Hazim he addresses, I actually spoke to. He filled me in on how all this worked. Apparently, Jordan was the go-to guy on these guys' behalf. Now, to be clear, you guys got a lot of these influencers.
Is that his picture on the left? It's just, it's totally fine, but it's like jarring. I know we're sitting here looking at a serious video, and then his Discord picture is him taking like a fucking rough shit. You know what I mean?
By talking to Jordan,
Lord.
right?
Everyone, or most of them other than Pomp and Ray J.
Seems like a lot of influence. Who is this Jordan guy? Well, according to his LinkedIn, he is the senior talent manager at FaZe Clan, and he admits he was brokering
Is FaZe talented enough to need a talent manager?
crypto deals for talent such as Kay, Jarvis, and the rest. When I asked him about it, he said, quote, "This began with me answering emails that were sent into Fraser's inbox. After a few of the deals, I got in contact with a party who then brought in a bulk of the deals to me, and that's it." And you might be asking, what did Jordan get out of all this? Well, commission. According to him, and we were talking about Fraser's deals specifically here, quote, "After Fraser was sent the money, he sent me between 10 to 20% of what he got. There was never formal conversations about commission since Fraser just always took care of me on every deal we did." So it seems like Jordan Galen's the guy going out there, getting the deals, negotiating the terms. And this is later sort of confirmed when we found such a deal in negotiation. It actually fell through, so it never happened. But it gives you an idea of the numbers we could be talking about here. Kay was supposed to promote something called Ape Haven Token. And at the time, they were negotiating to be paid over $500,000, of which $150,000 would have been part of a giveaway to promote the coin, which would have put Jordan's commission at around $40,000 to $80,000, with Kay's cut being $350,000,
Jesus Christ.
which isn't bad for a few tweets and a little promotion. And we actually obtained footage of this negotiation taking place.
We're super excited to get started. Fraser's ready to kind of start formulating and drafting his tweets for tonight.
Now, this negotiation goes on for a while of when these tweets are going out, but I noticed that Jordan Galen was doing most of the talking. And later, the call is wrapped up rather strangely.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're down. We're down to go now, man.
Hey, we go to the moon tonight, and then we start going over to Mars, and we get all the way to Pluto. Let's do it.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir, mate.
I'll see you there.
All right.
Now, unfortunately, since this deal did not work out,
What the fuck was that? Like, what did I just watch? Like, I watched like a fucking acid trip there. This really reminds me of like just a douchey boys club. You know what I mean? Like this is why we need to kill all men. I'm just kidding.
we don't know if they made it to Pluto or not, but we know how these deals were getting to Kay and others. Jordan was hunting them down, but not just for FaZe members, for others like Rice Gum as well. This brings up kind of an important question. If a talent manager for FaZe Clan was involved, did FaZe as an organization know about this?
That's a good question, because it's hard to say, like, what was this guy's role? I mean, this guy's role may have very well been of just like, oh, I'm assigned to promote a particular project, maybe for FaZe, or maybe just for the people I represent in FaZe. And it doesn't necessarily mean he's like a kingpin. He's just somebody who's like orchestrating it, where, you know, somebody else may be a mastermind.
I've spoken extensively to everyone I could about this, starting with FaZe Banks. He immediately denied any knowledge, and after hearing what Jordan Galen had done, FaZe Clan promptly fired him. I asked Jordan Galen if any of these deals had crossed.
Bro, could you imagine though, like if the actual FaZe Clan, because as of right now, FaZe Clan has been pretty disconnected. They're like, oh, we didn't know this was going on, but like, imagine that they did. Imagine that a lot of this came from like not even a higher up, but like somebody that was associated with FaZe Clan. Like, I don't know, man. This could be getting pretty deep.
Lost FaZe Clan's desks, and he responded, quote, "No, I didn't bring in the deals through the paths I usually did, and was working with talent directly. There were no agreements, so there was nothing ever to send FaZe Legal to review. nor did FaZe get any financial cut on these deals.
Interesting.
This corroborates what he'd tell me later. Jordan told me, quote, there were no contracts either. Now, given all of this, I'm comfortable saying FaZe, as an organization, didn't know what was going on with these crypto deals.
There goes my fucking theory that just out the door. Okay. What the fuck?
Because it just kind of doesn't make sense. If FaZe knew, they'd want a piece of the pie. And the other part of this is that if they knew, they probably would have vetoed it, because why risk an $100 million plus brand for a 40 grand payout over here or there? You know, it just doesn't make sense. But if you're a talent manager who's looking to get paid a little bit on the side, I don't know. I think that just makes a little bit more sense that way.
Somebody in my chat named like Jerry, I don't know. They're like, yeah, why would FaZe risk their company for the dog shit pump and dump? and then Coffeezilla says the same thing. It's funny.
Doesn't mean that I endorse FaZe or I'm phasing up or whatever. I've seen so much flack online that this whole thing is a FaZe conspiracy and how FaZe knew and all this kind of stuff. And from what I've seen, that simply isn't true. But okay, if FaZe, the organization, didn't know, who did know? Somebody had to put this thing together. Who was left after we check off box after box? Well,
did we check all those boxes? I feel like we shouldn't have checked off Rice Gum. You know what I mean? But okay.
3 people seemed to me to be at the heart of this. Fraser K, who sent me a cease and desist letter shortly after my second video. You have Sam Pepper, who lived with K and has been known in the crypto industry for a while now as someone who constantly shills worthless coins. And of course, Jordan Galen, a rogue manager running crypto deals.
I have to say, I hate Sam Pepper. Just look at he's a prankster and he has a really dumb fucking haircut. So I'm pretty sure that he's guilty of everything wrong in the world.
Here's what I wanted to know. Okay, they're running this crypto game for a while where they post about a coin, get a bunch of money, immediately sell it, delete the posts. But how long was this pump and dump type scheme happening? How far did it really go? For this, I had to go deep on the blockchain. So I spent several late nights tracking down every transaction I could and trying to get to the bottom of this thing. And what I found out was that this thing went deeper than I ever could have imagined. Okay, so don't freak out, but I did spend a lot of time doing this. I know how insane it looks.
Did he really do this, or is this just like a prop?
Looks like I'm about to bring up Carol from HR, okay? But I'm not. This is genuinely the best way to visualize what we've found here.
I don't think that's true.
We mapped out the blockchain crypto
He looks like Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
transactions between 3 people we know about. K, we have Jordan Galen, and we have Sam Pepper. And we map these out in order to find out where their connections are. So let me tell you how this works. In pink are the altcoins. In purple are the main wallets. So here we have Fraser's main wallet. Right here we have Jordan Galen's main wallet. And up here, Sam Pepper's main wallet. And I also threw in Jarvis over here in order to show you guys the difference between a normal wallet and the rest of these guys. So over here, it's just one wallet and it's connected to 3 things: Save the Kids, Doge Elon, and Jordan Galen.
Okay.
Comparatively, look at someone like K. He's tied to nearly everything. Different wallets, different crypto coins. He's moving money between different accounts. Like, for instance, this whale wallet for K. And what we've done is color-coded each wallet we believe these guys control. K, for instance, we colored in light brown. The wallets we believe Jordan controls in light blue. And the wallets that Sam Pepper controls in green, all in order to give you a better understanding of their operations. And the reason we went through all this trouble is because if I sat here and walked you through each and every transaction, you'd get lost, because it wasn't always their main wallets doing the sketchy business. Here's a small example. See, OXE40 here. Fraser funded it on May 7th by sending 5.1 BNB from his main wallet. That wallet then bought Pluto, which Fraser promoted. And then this wallet sent that Pluto back to 2 different wallets.
Jesus Christ.
One of them is Fraser's main wallet, and another one is a wallet he's linked to.
I'm going to be honest with you, this isn't really helping me understand too much, but it's very visually stimulating. But like, what the fuck? It seems like this guy routed money through tons of different wallets to try to erase the cash.
X881.
Or like,
both of these wallets then immediately dumped that Pluto. But if I explain that to you with just wallet numbers and just in transactions, it's easy to get confused. But with this math,
I'm
we can
just
see
as
how they're
confused.
linked. And ultimately, it isn't about one transaction
I'm just
or
following
another.
the
That's
light.
not the point. The point is that these people aren't amateurs. So if they try to come out and tell you that they thought this was just like any other brand deal, or they didn't know what they were doing, or they're new to crypto, it's just not true. This scheme is incredibly complicated. Kay and Sam Pepper both have wallets the way a janitor has keys, and I believe they use them to hide the full scope of what they were doing. And the question is,
I wouldn't doubt that,
course,
sure.
why? If you're not trying to cover something up, why have 5, 10, 20 wallets? Why shuffle your money around like you're playing a game of 3-card Monty? I think the answer is obvious. And what's also clear is that Kay and Sam Pepper, they worked closely together because with things like...
Because they were gay. I knew it. I knew that they kissed. That's the part that I don't think anybody was thinking about. I said it, though. I said Sam Pepper was gay, and you guys didn't listen to me. That's not an insult. I just know that he just looks like he's a bottom. That's all I wanted to point out, okay?
like Moonpub, we've previously discussed how Kay made roughly $100,000 from it, but Pepper was also involved over here. And the other thing we learned...
Look at that face. Come on.
...is that Jordan Galen over here, he seems to be instrumental...
And Jordan's last name is Galen? Come on, dude. Gayland? I'm just saying, dude. It was all there all along.
...in finding these deals for Kay. He has less wallets than either one of these guys, but he was key to get...
That's how you know he has the fewer wallets. That's how you know that he was more of a man. He was, or not more of a man. He was just like less gay because, you know, I'm honestly just going off the deep end at this point. I'm just saying stupid shit. But, you know, women have more purses, wallets. You know what I mean? So Sam Pepper's the bottom. The other guy is the top. You got to think about that. I have one wallet. My girlfriend has multiple purses. Beat that logic. I dare you.
Getting these deals done. For example, Hazim, the Moon Portal developer we've heard from earlier, told me that when he reached out to Kay, Kay insisted on having Jordan involved.
He was actually the first one I reached out to, and he said that we had to have a conversation with Jordan present, so we hopped on a group call together.
Okay,
interesting.
So we know Jordan is tied up with Kay, and Sam Pepper and Kay are working closely together. And basically, they would run these crypto deals, sometimes in their main wallets, sometimes not. They'd promote these coins, dump these coins, and then delete the posts. But now that the stage is set, now that we've found out how this all worked, we're almost ready to save the kids. But first, I want to clear up something from the last video. In Mudahar's last video, we had highlighted some of the problems with these token giveaways, where some of the giveaways seem to go to wallets linked to Kay. For example, this wallet, which won 3 of Fraser Kay's giveaways in a row in the exact...
I don't remember seeing that. He won his own giveaway. That's scummy.
...giveaway amounts. We also highlighted when Fraser announced a giveaway for the token MILF. Quote, I'll give $500 to a random person in 24 hours who likes this tweet. Good luck, and not financial advice. Now, who was the one person who got paid in MILF token in that 24-hour period? It was Jordan Galen. And we said at the time, this looks like giveaway fraud. But Jordan was adamant that no such giveaway fraud had happened.
How could it not be giveaway fraud for your friend to get the giveaway money? That's a conflict of interest at like best.
This was his commission fee, he told us, not giveaway winnings, which fair enough. Call it commission, call it whatever you want. The fact is, Jordan immediately sold that MILF token right after, as Kay was tweeting and hyping up these tokens. Now with that short correction out of the way, and now that you understand the key players and their history with crypto.
They weren't even giving people the money for the giveaways. That's so scummy.
Let's talk about Save the Kids. All 3.
So far, what I'm gathering, this is my speculation right now, we're halfway through the video, is that it seems like these 3 seem to work on a lot of projects together to destroy other like cryptocurrencies and whatnot. Like they seem to run pump and dump schemes, and like the coins are potentially credible coins that these guys ravaged through. The thing that's weird to me is that like, what's interesting to me is that coins would continuously allow them to work on their projects, even though they're like history of pumping and dumping. So either the people working in these coins, excuse me, either the people who are working in these coins are really stupid and don't like look into their research, or they're also in on the pump and dump scheme potentially. Like who really knows? I mean, maybe they're making them themselves. We don't really know.
3 of these guys, Kay, Galen, and Sam Pepper, bought into the pre-sale. But were they all equally responsible? Who's in charge? Well, as I was trying to figure it out, someone who I wasn't expecting suddenly reached out.
Me. It was me.
We're probably gonna have to chat soon.
Jesus,
Whoa,
the fucking
boys.
sound. The editing here is
sorry,
crisp.
I had to move. We had to go back in front of the screen for this. Obviously, when I saw this, my mind was blown. We've been trying to get a hold.
It seems like he was working on the video and then he got this randomly. I was like, and then it like blew his mind and he just like inserted it into the middle of the video.
Of this guy like forever. He's one of the key players here. So immediately I respond, "Hey, got time now?" And then I gave him some contact information. And then for probably, I don't know, 5 minutes, I just see these 3 bubbles that are killing me.
He's probably sitting there with
heart is just like,
with just like anxiety.
Because
Like
this guy could be the key to this whole thing, this whole save the kids thing. He's maybe the missing link. But then he replies, "Sorry, mate, moving. All this shit means the house closed down and everything. Will most likely be next week. Keep this between us until then. I don't want to create any unnecessary drama till we fully get to talk, start to finish, of what happened."
So it seems like he had, this just seems like a bullshit excuse. There's no reason why moving would get in the way of this story. It's like you sit down for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes and have a chat. Like it's a bullshit excuse. But it makes sense as to why Coffeezilla took so long to get the video out. To me though, based on the way that everything's going, this seems to be Sam Pepper going, okay, I know that I'm complicit in this and that I'm probably maybe even like the kingpin, but if I can jump on half a grenade and throw everybody else under the bus, take a little bit of heat, push the pressure onto somebody else, and then get through this so that I can do something bad again. Because we know when people engage in like really shitty things like this and they get caught, when they can get away with it, they do it again and then they get better at doing it again. So I wouldn't doubt that that's what happens here.
I got to tell you guys, being this close to it, this deep in the investigation, and almost getting this guy to talk only to be pushed off was just killing me. And because at this point we have to play a waiting game, right? But we did learn something. It seems like whatever friendship him and Kay had seems to have disintegrated, because moving out of Kay's house where they lived meant they wouldn't be working together anymore. But while I waited for a response for him to get back with me, I got sent an anonymous email that caught me off guard. In it was a recorded call with Lucas, the developer. You guys should remember him from the last episode. He designed the Save the Kids project code. He also changed the whale code, but said he was just doing that because he was told to.
Coffee, this is what I was told to do. I'm contracted. I don't know what to tell you.
And in this new recording, he finally points the finger at who told him to change that whale code.
So there's a big argument between the devs to change the code and the devs trying to not wanting to change the code, obviously explaining why this 24 hours is necessary. But there is a behind-the-scenes manager who mainly pushed this. This was Sam's pushing, trying to argue with the devs that the code should have been changed, so it was a lot less limiting.
Whoa. So Sam Pepper was the one behind the whale code change. I asked Lucas myself, and he confirmed it. Now, full disclosure,
it seems like everybody's just trying to push the pin somewhere. It seems like there's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of people who are like running this, and they're all just like, it's him. Everybody's just, you know, this is like snitch central here. You know what I mean? These guys wouldn't last in the hood, bruh. You know what I'm saying, dude? Not like me. I'm a real gangster.
I think the email containing that video about Pepper is from Kay, just anonymously. Now, I have no hard proof of that, but the tone of the email sounded like it was from Kay or his team. And it's worth knowing that as we move forward, because later it emailed me a bunch of really personal information about Pepper, like literally a photo of Sam Pepper seeming like he was just going out to his car or something, like he was being watched without his knowledge by some kind of a private investigator. But regardless, whoever was sending me this information, it was pretty obvious that I wasn't the only one investigating Sam. Other people wanted to know what he was up to as well. And then I got another email. I know lots of emails here. This time from an ex-Sam Pepper fan who invested in the coin himself through Sam Pepper. He showed me that Sam was actually part of the promotion of this coin because he ran his own version of the pre-sale list. This is a list of people Sam Pepper got to put in money and got them Save the Kids before the public could ever get involved. Now, I analyzed what these people did with their coins, and it turns out a huge proportion of these guys dumped their coins 3 to 4 hours after launch, which may have been part of the cause for why the coin got rugged. But at this point, I'm thinking Sam clearly played a hand in the rug pull in this whole thing turning out to be a scam. But right as I was thinking that he was responsible for everything, suddenly we get a response from Sam Pepper. It's long and full of PR, so let me give you the important part. I've been a paid consultant to Kay for 2 years. I took orders from him and had no authority independent of him. Everyone knows that. Kay does what he wants and doesn't do anything he doesn't want to do, even if others want him to do it. Everyone knows that too. The name, concept, and aspects of Save the Kids coin were Kay's idea, and he chose and assembled the team members he controls. That's what Kay does. Okay.
It seems very convenient for Sam Pepper to all of a sudden say it's like someone else's fault after there's a lot of credible evidence that like he's the mastermind here.
Obviously, we have to take this with a huge grain of salt coming from Pepper because everyone's playing this like PR game at this point. But what if there is some truth to this? Was Kay behind Save the Kids token launch? I mean, he made himself seem like another ambassador, but what if he's the one who launched it? Then I get sent this picture from Sam Pepper to confirm what he's saying. It's a message from Kay on May 21st. Founder of CoinMarketCap heard I'm starting this and reached out to call me later. Wow. Now pay attention to these dates here because this is important. This was allegedly sent on May 21st, 2021, and presumably he's talking about Save the Kids here because when you go look up the domain for Save the Kids, guess when it was created? May 20th, a day before. So a day after this SaveTheKids.io website is created, right here, Kay is contacted by the founder of CoinMarketCap. Now, I reached out to Kay to try to confirm this screenshot's existence because obviously I don't trust Sam Pepper as far as I can throw him, but Kay didn't respond. But even without all this, right, everything does seem to point at Kay starting this coin. We know that he's the one who brought on Lucas the developer. We know he used Manny's connections. We also know he brought on Sam Pepper to mod this thing up. And you know what else? This giant pre-sale wallet that everyone's been mod.
This kind of seems like Kay is like, oh, I never brought Sam on just as mods as a way to like try to cover Sam's tracks.
This thing up. And you know what else? This giant pre-sale wallet that everyone's been sending money to. This one right here. It looks like Kay might control that too. It was active after the pre-sale money was sent and even sent $20,000 to an address linked to Kay. All of this evidence points to Kay at least being the creator of this coin, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it seems to be Pepper who doomed the coin by changing the whale code. And of course, where does our good buddy Jordan Galen fit into all this? We know that he's been facilitating a lot of these deals, but on Save the Kids, his role does seem to be a little bit more low-key. He seems less involved. He initially insisted that he had nothing to do with the coin. Quote, I want to be abundantly clear. I had nothing to do with the development, organization of talent marketing, or anything to do with Save the Kids coin. I responded, why are you lying? And then sent him a screenshot showing him trying to onboard a popular YouTuber onto Save the Kids. This text is from Jordan himself. Quote, hey, great to be connected. One of the talents I represent, Phase K, is one of the lead ambassadors for a new crypto token launch, Save the Kids. We would love to get this person involved. Now, I'm not showing their name because they declined the deal and I don't want to just drag them into drama for no reason. But the point, because they declined.
Nice to meet you, Jordan. Sorry for the late reply. Actually, pretty much, Blank actually pretty much has a blanket embargo on promoting any individual small market cap coin, so I don't think we'll be able to work with anything out this time. I wonder who that is. It's PewDiePie. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who it is.
Find the deal, and I don't want to just drag them into drama for no reason. But the point is, he clearly was working on some of the organization of talent. Now, when I showed him this, Jordan backpedaled. He said, if I tried to have anyone be part
It was me, yeah.
of the project, it would be because either Sam or Fraser requested I reach out to a talent to see if they were interested. But I am being very genuine when I say to you that I did not have any involvement, and I'm not lying to your face.
No, we're probably lying through messages.
Interesting. Jordan would later tell me that this is the only person that he approached with this deal, so make of that what you will. Going back to the wallet map, I think a picture is starting to emerge here, given our available facts, a story of what happened. So here is, in my opinion, what happened with Save the Kids token, given all this new evidence. I think all three of these guys were doing this crypto thing for a while, where early dumps meant big profits. Jordan is
probably
the deal guy. We've got Sam Pepper, and we've got Fraser K being more of the crypto people. And then one day along comes Kay, and he decides, you know what? I want to start my own charity coin. So he gets a bunch of big influencer friends on board using him and his manager Jordan Galen's connections. Then at some point, Sam Pepper is brought in on the team, maybe to mod this thing up, which seems to have been a critical mistake. Maybe Kay thought that because Sam Pepper and him live together, his friend would act different for his project and not rug the coin. I don't know. But then Sam Pepper starts selling off a bunch of Save the Kids token to his own gang of people, and he receives in exchange a small fee of 1 BNB from many of these wallets, which he immediately then sends to his main wallet. Meanwhile, Kay is working on promotion and gets several famous influencers. This, of course, hypes up all of their fans who get their wallets ready for the big day. But right before launch, we have Sam Pepper, who approaches Lucas, the developer, with the idea of changing this whale code. Lucas says that he was just following orders and makes the change. And all of this dooms Save the Kids token from the very start.
Interesting.
Then comes the day of launch. This project is supposed to be unruggable, but immediately the project gets rugged as sellers take advantage of Sam Pepper's code change. And then the price collapses. Sam Pepper's group seems to be one of the first to fully jump ship. 4 hours in, they were completely out. Kay isn't any better. He started selling 40 minutes after launch and continues selling until 24 hours later, he's out too. Out of what looks like to be his project that he started in the first place. Jordan Galen also...
Yeah, it's interesting because it seemed like he did it so early that this guy knew that he was... Dude, I wonder how deep this goes, because why would you start your own project just to sabotage? I mean, obviously you would do that to just try to like liquidate it almost instantly and just make as much money as possible. But I wonder if he actually genuinely wanted to get the coin going off. But then what ended up happening is he's noticed his friend was going to dump, so he's like, fuck, I might as well dump too to get my money, to get money out of it. There's just so much going on here.
Also abandoned the project early. He sold off within about 6 hours. Kay's influencer friends who shot this embarrassing promo, well, they also sold some or all of their tokens really quick. All except for Tico, of course, who didn't sell any. But with all of this sell pressure, the result is obvious. The project collapses. All the while, the fans of these guys are dumping money into a project that never had a chance.
It really is possible that like one person could have been like, fuck it, I'm going to actually dump on this coin, and then other people found out and decided to dump on it as well. Because that seems like what it might have happened.
Except wait, that isn't the full story. There's a bit more. And I'm sorry for adding this in. It's 6 a.m. on video launch day, and I'm still getting new information on the fallout of the story. So I'm just going to have to shove this in somewhere real quick, because I've just found out that Sam Pepper fled to the U.S. to go back to the UK. Here's the evidence. First, I found a new photo of Sam Pepper.
What the fuck is happening? Wait, so now we got a pump and dump scam, and now Sam Pepper is fucking fleeing the country? What the fuck is this? This feels like the Kids Bob version of a James Bond movie now. What is happening here? What the fuck is happening? And this guy looks like a fucking matchstick. What is this?
In the UK. You got to appreciate the shirt he's wearing that says paranoid. Nice, Sam.
Fair
now,
enough.
Of course, you might say just because he's in the UK doesn't mean he's fleeing the country. It could be coincidental travel, and that's true. But here's another piece of information you should consider. Sam Pepper had a white Tesla Model 3 lease, a fact that was told to me by the person that I believe was working for K and was basically stalking Sam Pepper. Remember, they're the ones who emailed me a really weird photo of Sam. Now, they had told me that Sam sold his Tesla to a CarMax location in Escondido, California, right here.
Okay.
Now, the problem is, of course, I don't trust K, and they didn't give me much to go on, just a license plate number, which I confirmed was Sam Pepper's, but after days of searching, I couldn't confirm or find at CarMax. Not only that, when I approached Pepper, he denied it. I told him, I'm hearing from anonymous sources that you've sold basically everything, including your car. Is that true? He says, what? Lol. The conspiracies are getting out of control. I said, you didn't sell your Tesla to CarMax? He responds, I am completely lost to what you're on about. But eventually, the truth of...
The next question needs to be like, do you own a Tesla? You know what I mean? Because if you can confirm that he owns the Tesla, and then he lies, he says no, then you know he's lying.
Of course, came out. I had an acquaintance in the car industry call these CarMax locations and get confirmation that Sam Pepper did have a lease on that white Tesla Model 3. And that he did sell it. Because we found his car at the Murrieta CarMax location, which is a 33-mile drive north of where we first heard he sold it.
What the fuck?
Here's our call confirming that.
Yes, sir. And it's actually in Murrieta. So Murrieta, California would have it.
And here it is on their website. We found this with the stock number we were given. It's the same VIN as Sam Pepper's car, meaning he really did break his lease about a year early. It's not yet available yet because of how recently it was sold. So why sell your car? Why leave the country? And why lie about it? Well, obviously, I have my theories. But playing devil's advocate, you might say, maybe this is just all coincidence, right? You know,
I feel like that's not an easy coincidence to have, to sell your leased car back. Did he buy a new one? Because then maybe it would be a coincidence. But it seems like he's fleeing the fucking country. If this was just some kind of a trip, I don't know. Like, are we assuming that he had plans to leave like months prior to this, and like it's just happened to be happening now? Because that's it. But this dude like seemed he legit sold off his car. And he's leaving the country. What the fuck? Dude, this is... Someone needs to buy the rights to this movie and make a weird movie about this.
Sam happened to travel to UK right after...
Make Michael Cera Sam Pepper or something, you know what I mean?
Save the Kids. He was deleting posts right after Save the Kids and privated his Twitter account right after Save the Kids and ended his car lease early right after Save the Kids and then lied about that fact. Maybe it's just all coincidence. But in my opinion... it looks like Sam Pepper is fleeing the United States to escape legal accountability for what happened. But I asked him about this, and he, of course, denies this categorically. He said, you're very dramatic. I've been waiting for...
I don't know. Listen, not trying to be that guy. I'm trying to be impartial. But when you start something with you're very dramatic, like you're not to use too much charged language, but that's like the first step in gaslighting. You're crazy. Like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. You're being dramatic, right? Instead of just being like, oh no, it's a misunderstanding. X, Y, and Z happened. So like we're off to a bad start. Sam Pepper is seeming to be incredibly defensive, and he seems to be trying to push a narrative and shaming people, because that's when you tell somebody they're being dramatic, you're trying to shame them out of a behavior.
For COVID to be in a place where I can travel. UK just released its mask mandate, and I haven't seen my family in years, several years. I private my Twitter as I'm not tweeting about crypto right now. And as there's clearly drama with influencers talking about coins, etc., I have hundreds of thousands of people who can still see it. And if you're saying that I deleted tweets, then you can see that too. Not much hiding or running going on there. I get that the storyline would further your story and make more of an interesting angle, but it factually isn't the truth. Now, worth noting, he did not address the lie about selling his Tesla or the fact he sold it at all. But I'm going to just have to let you guys decide what the truth is. Did Sam flee the UK? Or was this all part of a regular trip to visit the family he hasn't seen in several years? But in
well, I mean, COVID hasn't been going on that long, has it? Several years? Let's see, 3. Been waiting for COVID to be in a place where I can travel. So the mask mandate was lifted 2 weeks ago. UK just released its mask mandate, but you could still travel even with a mask mandate, and you still have to wear masks on planes. I haven't seen my family in years, several years. The COVID has been like, what, a year and a half now? So like he hasn't seen, okay. I private my Twitter as I'm not tweeting about crypto right now. That shouldn't matter. It's a fucking Twitter account. Why do you need to private it? Like that doesn't even make sense. Well, I'm not talking. I only leave my account unprivated when I'm talking about crypto. So it's like that doesn't make any sense. Why would you private your account when you're not talking about crypto? Clearly, there's trauma with influencers talking about coins. I have hundreds of thousands of people who can still see it, and if you're saying I've deleted tweets, then you can see that too. Not much hiding or running away going on there, other than selling your car and running away. I get that the storyline would further your story and make more of an interesting angle, but it isn't factually the truth. Very defensive language.
Anyway, guys, that's the new evidence. Now visit the family he hasn't seen in several years. But anyway, guys, that's the new evidence. Now back to a more well-rested Coffeezilla. All in all, that seems to be the story of Save the Kids token. I approached Sam Pepper, Fraser K, and Jordan Galen with my account of the events, and where I could, I've added in their side of the story. But besides that, I think something worth mentioning is the only person who shared even the slightest bit of regret so far was Jordan Galen, who responded to a question of whether he felt remorse and told me, absolutely. At the time, I was doing what I felt would make Fraser and the talent happy. I didn't want to upset anyone by not helping, so I helped get on some calls and negotiate deals, and one thing led to the next. Now, this obviously isn't the...
It sounds like he ended up wrapping himself into whatever scheme was going on to try to like maintain his job or push his position as a middleman or whatever you'd call him, manager, forward.
World's best apology. But coming from the guy who probably had the least to do with Save the Kids of these three people, it's at least something. You know, Kay, meanwhile, has dodged all responsibility and tried to pin it on Sam. Sam, in turn, has tried to pin it all on Kay, saying he's the mastermind. The reality is, without the other one, this would have never happened. Without Kay creating and hyping up this worthless coin, this could have never happened.
To be honest with you, I think that in, like, our desperation to chase who the mastermind is, we're downplaying how horrible everybody or most people in this thing were, right? Like most of the people involved in this did it to, or seemingly did it to pump and dump their coin. They were complicit in the pump and dump, right? Even if your best argument is, well, I caught wind that someone else was going to pump and dump, so someone else was going to dump, so I dumped. You're still complicit in that situation, and you still fucked up. So I don't know, man. I feel like we're like, who's the kingpin? But like the desperate search for who the kingpin is causing us to downplay how terrible a lot of everybody else in this scenario was. And I think that we should focus on acknowledging that these people should never be trusted with any ever. Most of them, other than the one guy that never removed his coin.
And without Sam changing the whale code.
And they're all very dishonest about it. I think that's the biggest thing about it. Because if someone came forward and said, listen, I leveraged my platform to promote this coin. I did believe in this coin. I thought it was going to be like good. There was a bunch of other influencers who got me on board. I trusted them. And then I caught wind that they were going to dump the coin. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to dump it too, because if not, I'm going to lose all my money. You could think that guy's a scumbag, but at least they were being honest about it. But nobody's doing that. Everybody's like super quiet, and they're pretending that they don't need to be like held accountable or like express the truth.
Last minute, this also could have never happened. And the irony to me is that before this falling out, these guys were clearly working together in crypto, involved in the same coin. So don't let them fool you as they try to, point the finger at the other one. There's plenty of blame to go around for both of them.
And it's like everybody's happy. And also part of it is it's quite possible that everybody knew it was going to be pumped and dumped. And they were like, yeah, easy scam, easy money. I don't care. And then they got caught, and all of a sudden coward mode sets in.
So there you go. That's the story of Save the Kids. Oh, and since I know everyone's going to be asking me about how much money everyone made, let me just get through this real quick. I just have no clue. I thought I did when I had just one wallet per person, but now that there's like 20 wallets, finding an exact number, unless you're like a forensic accountant, is next to impossible given how convoluted all these wallet transactions can get. You guys saw the board. But what I can tell you is that it wasn't a lot. Not on Save the Kids, at least. Pepper probably made the most money since he sold the earliest, but the real money to me seems like it was made earlier.
you know, sometimes things are drastic, massive conspiracies, but like, you also sometimes if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, it's a duck. If Sam Pepper was the first one to dump out, Sam Pepper is probably the biggest shithead of the whole project. So there you go. I think that's a reasonable assumption to make.
Here for these guys. Back when Kay and Pepper were on the same team running these crypto deals. Moonpug, Pluto, Eclipse, Titscoin, Safe Galaxy. I think this is where these guys made their real money. We know already that these deals could easily net 6 figures for them, so they could be millionaires from this by now.
True. Also, if you invested in Titscoin, you're kind of a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Do better, you know?
And it's crazy to think that
Lord.
if Save the Kids had never happened, we wouldn't know the extent of these other stories. We wouldn't know how these influencers have been taking advantage of their fans. And obviously it goes beyond Kay and Pepper, right? Like, just how many influencers have done this, deleted their tweets, and gotten away with it? It's crazy to think about.
It's true.
But hopefully this series has shown people that A, we need regulation in crypto for these promotions, and B, once it's on the blockchain, it's forever. So if you are an influencer who thinks that you can delete some tweets and never get caught, you might be wrong about that. We will eventually find you, and we will expose you.
And we're gonna kill you. Just kidding. It's just, that's the energy I got from from it, you know what I mean?
Hopefully, eventually, maybe the cops will pay attention to what's going on here. I don't know, like the FBI.
Bro, honestly, it's one of those, it's like not going to happen for such a long time if it ever happens, because we are so behind when it comes to internet policing. Like, honestly, we're not even having honest conversations about the way that young people talk on apps. Like, honestly, like, it's such a weird thing to talk about, but if we look at Call Me Carson, like, we're having a 19-year-old that's talking to a 17-year-old and they're exchanging pictures, and like, and it's gross, but like, in the real world, those two can sleep together totally consensually and there's no problem. But then on the internet, it's somehow illegal. You know what I mean? We haven't even fleshed anything out. And then that's one thing. And it's also Amazon completely just like going overdrive and taking $3 billion losses to put out bookstores out of business. Like, these are the types of things that you can do online that you can get away with, but you can't get away with in like real life. And so we're terrible as a country with keeping up with technology or implementing any type of safeguards when it comes to technology. And part of it's because a bunch of old, dumb fucks are running our country and they have no understanding of computers whatsoever. I mean, you could look at the way that they interviewed Lizard Man Mark Zuckerberg when the whole Facebook thing was going on a year or so ago. They don't even know what they're fucking asking. They don't understand anything to do with anything.
SEC, somebody else needs to get involved in this besides me. I'm just going to be straightforward with you guys because I'm about to go crazy watching all this stuff unfold. So hopefully it's not just me finding you and exposing you. Hopefully it's those guys, because I'm kind of tired of looking at the blockchain for now. Anyways, I think that's basically it for me. I'm going to go take a long nap, probably drink a lot. I'm out of here. See ya.
I know what you mean.
All right, that's pretty interesting. I got to take a really big pee. Probably not the best way to end that video. But very interesting video, man. There's obviously a lot of moving parts in here, but I don't know. I guess we can't say anything with absolute confidence because that's a legal liability, but it seems like they're all a bunch, most of them are just fucking scumbags, and Sam Pepper is the biggest scum fuck of them all.